Attention, all Dallas Cowboys fans. This is a moment you don't want to miss because something massive is brewing in the NFC East, and it could completely redefine the Cowboys' road to another championship. What's unfolding isn't just your average offseason shuffle, it's the kind of seismic shift that leaves rivals stumbling for years. You're hearing this firsthand, and it's about to get real interesting. If you consider yourself a true supporter of America's team, you already know the stakes couldn't be higher. The Cowboys have spent seasons quietly building a roster designed to dominate, and now, the final pieces may be falling into place at precisely the right time. Let's start with a name that has been sparking headlines and late-night debates among analysts, Stephon Gilmore. Yes, the former Defensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl champion, and five-time Pro Bowler is still sitting out there in free agency, waiting for the right franchise to pick up the phone. Gilmore is no ordinary veteran padding his R-sum in the twilight of his career. Even at 34 years old, he has shown he can still play high-level football. Just last season with the Minnesota Vikings, he started 15 games and anchored a secondary that helped fuel an impressive 14-3 campaign, despite all the injuries Minnesota battled. His presence alone elevated that defense, proving that while he might not be the shutdown corner of his prime, he remains a smart, poised, and steady presence who can make those crucial plays when the clock is winding down. But the situation around Gilmore isn't as simple as picking a destination and inking a deal. Across the league, teams are holding their breath as the Jalen Ramsey trade saga continues to clog the cornerback market. Everyone is waiting to see where Ramsey lands, because once that domino falls, the offers for proven veterans like Gilmore are expected to start flowing fast. The NFL is a passing league more than ever, and every front office knows depth at cornerback is a necessity, not a luxury. You need experienced defenders who can line up across from elite receivers and hold their own, especially when it matters most in the postseason. Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox recently highlighted two franchises as the most logical landing spots for Gilmore: the Carolina Panthers and the Dallas Cowboys. For Cowboys Nation, that should be more than a little exciting. Even though Gilmore isn't the absolute lockdown artist he once was, Pro Football Focus still graded him a respectable 94th out of 222 corners last season. He broke up 9 passes, supported the run, and brought the kind of versatility that can change a game plan. As a short-term signing, he could fit perfectly into a defense, looking for immediate impact without a long-term contract weighing down the salary cap. And that brings us to the Cowboys' own cornerback situation. Dallas has spent years assembling one of the NFL's most talented defensive rosters. DaRon Bland has emerged as a reliable and versatile option who can cover inside or outside, while Trevon Diggs remains one of the most dynamic ball hawks in the game when healthy. But Diggs' injury history and his $12.59 million cap hit can't be ignored. In a year where Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons all command massive contracts, every dollar counts. Moving Diggs in a trade could free up nearly $10 million, enough to sign a player like Gilmore and still have flexibility to address other needs. Gilmore's experience could be exactly what this defense requires. He's been to the biggest games and understands how to stay composed when the pressure is suffocating. In a division loaded with dangerous receiving corps, think the Eagles, Giants, and Commanders, the Cowboys would gain an experienced hand who could mentor the younger DBs, stabilize coverage units, and take the stress off Trevon Diggs or whoever ends up as Cowboy. The Eagles are always reloading with veteran talent. The Giants are desperately trying to rebuild into a contender, and the Commanders are working to establish their identity under new leadership. Every move Dallas makes has to be strategic, because the window to turn this roster into a championship team is wide open, but it won't stay open forever. Adding Gilmore could be the difference between another promising season that falls short in January and one that ends with confetti falling from the rafters. There's also something poetic about the possibility of Gilmore closing out his career in Carolina, returning home to where his journey began. But equally compelling is the chance to join a Dallas defense with Micah Parsons terrorizing quarterbacks and Gilmore calmly locking down the boundary, showing everyone he still has plenty left to give. As the NFL evolves, adaptability becomes as critical as talent. Gilmore has proven time and again that he can adjust to any scheme, any quarterback, any coaching style. That kind of reliability can transform a defense from good to great, especially in tight playoff contests, where one stop can decide everything. Whether he's lined up as a starter or a high-volume rotational corner, his presence alone would give the Cowboys an undeniable edge. Cowboys fans, this is your moment to weigh in. Do you believe Stephon Gilmore is the right fit to elevate this defense and push the Cowboys over the top? Should the front office make the bold move and bring in a proven veteran, or look elsewhere to solidify the secondary? Your thoughts matter. Drop your opinions in the comments below and let your voice be heard. Stay tuned, because I'll be back with more updates, more inside scoops, and more deep dives into everything happening with your Dallas Cowboys. Keep the faith, stay passionate, and remember, the best chapters in this team's story are still ahead. As the Cowboys consider how to position themselves for a deep playoff run, the front office has to evaluate not just the names on the roster, but the chemistry and leadership that glue a championship defense together. That's where someone like Stephon Gilmore becomes more than just a body on the field. His time in New England taught him what it means to operate inside a culture that demands excellence every single day, no matter the circumstances. He's lined up against Hall of Fame receivers, played in Super Bowls, and been tasked with shutting down the NFL's most dangerous weapons on the sport's biggest stages. For younger corners like DaRon Bland, seeing firsthand how a veteran studies film, anticipates routes, and positions himself before the snap is an education you can't replicate in a meeting room. And it's that quiet influence that often makes the difference in high-stakes moments, when a defense needs one more stop to close out a game. As the NFC East continues to stockpile elite playmakers, the Cowboys have to look beyond stats alone. They have to think about the mindset that Gilmore brings, the accountability he demands, and the example he sets for everyone around him. It's the kind of presence that can turn an already talented defense into the most feared unit in the league. And while Gilmore's next chapter is still unwritten, the timing has never been more critical. The Cowboys have a legitimate Super Bowl window, but that opportunity comes with constant pressure to execute in free agency and the draft. One misstep can derail momentum, while the right addition can change everything. If Dallas makes the decision to move on from Trevon Diggs, whether for financial flexibility, durability concerns, or a new strategic vision, signing Gilmore on a team-friendly deal would immediately soften that blow. It would also send a signal to the locker room and the fan base that this franchise is done settling for moral victories and is ready to chase real banners. Because in this league, the difference between heartbreak and glory often comes down to a single play, a pass breakup in the red zone, a critical tackle in the final 2 minutes, and those are the moments when experience matters most. No matter where Gilmore lands, his impact will echo far beyond the stat sheet, and for the Cowboys, that could be the deciding factor between another early playoff exit and finally recapturing the glory that fans have waited decades to see.